If I was the President of the United States, what would I do? What would I run on? What would my platforms be? How would I rally the American people to my side? For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to talk about all my policies as if they were done by executive order, just so resistance is taken out of the equation, because this thought experiment is more about idealism than realism. Half the stuff I'm going to say, you'll be like, that could never happen. Yeah, no shit, but we're here to have fun, so go with it. The first thing I would do is I would make it so whatever price the proposed rent of an apartment or house or whatever you're trying to live or work in, whatever the price was the day you signed the application to apply for it, that's the price. It fucking stays. At least for your first contract. I complained in a previous episode about all the bullshit surrounding my move into this apartment. The agents will print out a thing showing you, oh, it's going to be this price today, and this price 3 days from now, and this price in a week, depending on when we review your application. No, no, no. When I sign for a price, you give me that price. You don't go, oh, we waited 4 days to review it, so now your rent's going to be $30 higher, you slithering fucking serpents. You do your puppetry behind the scenes and then act like your hands are tied. No, bitch. You are the one holding the goddamn strings. We have to go by what the market says, and the market can change any time, and it's unpredictable. Oh yeah, is that why there are clauses in the landlord-tenant contract that allow the landlord to negotiate a reduced price for whatever reason? Like if a neighbor is constantly being too loud, or if something in your apartment needs to be renovated while you're living in it, we have to go by what the market says, unless we decide not to, which we can, but we won't. The system is a scam through and through, and I would sign an executive order making it illegal for prices to change after the application has been signed. I would also abolish hidden and superficial fees, like the fact that it costs $50 or whatever just to send in an application to most places. I'm not paying you for the privilege of having you look at my shit when the whole reason I'm applying is to pay you 20 times that over the course of a year. You should pay my ass for applications. They're what afford you the ability to spend the next several years overcharging me. I just renewed my lease a month ago, and there was a $30 renewal fee that nobody said anything about. It was just on my balance. They literally just make shit up and then grin at each other like, ooh, is he gonna pay it? Let's add a $5 usage fee for online payments just for the hell of it. You wanna pay us? You have to pay us. Teehee. Get rid of all that shit. I'd have half a mind to make every rental lease in the country rent controlled, maybe more than half. I don't know what all the consequences of that would be, but I should not have an extra $120 a month on my rent after renewal to live in this same apartment where nothing has improved to justify that. In fact, it's gotten worse. Our complex's gate doesn't close anymore. That shit just stays open all day and night. Some asshat drove into the keypad like 8 months ago and they still haven't fixed it. Our home is demonstrably less secure than when we got here, and the rent has gone up. Will the rent ever go down? It's hard for me to imagine coming up on my next renewal and the prices are lower than what I'm currently paying. There's no way that ever happens, but it needs to. These places need to get inspected every year and then have that be a contributing factor to rent costs. My apartment's leasing office workers are so connivingly lazy, they don't even send out email notices when you're accruing a late fee for whatever reason. If your auto pay fucks up or a superficial fee puts you above the maximum limit you set your card to, they don't tell you. They just let it stack up $5 a day every day, hoping you don't notice what went wrong. And then they have the gall when confronted to be like, oh, well, we used to email people about late fees, but people said that was annoying. Are you out of your fucking mind? First of all, cap. Second of all, even if that were true, the people delinquent enough to develop an annoyance for being warned about what must be extremely common for them should not be the denominator you cater to when it comes to the odd late fee for people who otherwise are always on time with their payments. Why are you punishing mostly punctual people because mostly deadbeats complained? The icing on the cake was after that conversation where I went in because they added 17 days of late fees to my balance after never telling me that my automatic payment didn't go through. The next day, I got an email saying I had late fees that needed to be addressed. Oh, just in time! Leasing agents are so full of shit, dude. Anyone who ever hustled people in the street playing three-card money, those bitches went on to be leasing agents. Hello, would you like to rent an apartment where we change the price behind the scenes and make sure it keeps going up even as the quality of living goes down while also dinging you these tiny pointless fees everywhere we can, hoping they're small enough that you won't find it worthwhile to complain? Absolute snakes. Every last one of them. So yeah, if I'm president, you get what you pay for. You don't pay for bullshit, and you don't get priced out of your own home. Executive Order number 2. Shoplifting slash looting beyond a certain low monetary amount are felonies that will be prosecuted no matter what the national circumstances are. Some people are like, duh, but California recently voted for a measure that enacts tougher punishments on shoplifters and property thieves because previously they were not doing shit about it, and many places don't. Lots of stores have a no chase policy. If a worker sees someone walk out with stuff they didn't pay for, the worker will get in trouble if they flag that bitch down. It should be 100% legal in all cases for retail workers or security to clock a motherfucker pocketing stuff and use force if necessary to prevent them from taking it. And it should be illegal to fire anyone who prevented a crime from taking place in their business. All those videos you see where it's like, these robbers fucked with the wrong cashier and the cashiers thwart the robbery, those cashiers get fired. Is that justice or is that bullshit? I think if we established a vibe where it's like, if you steal and you get caught and you resist, you're going to get hurt. That would be good for society overall. It would take time to adjust to, and some shoplifters would inevitably be made examples of, but eventually it would foster a climate where this stuff happens less. Stealing should be more of a risk, and anyone who uses a gun or a deadly weapon to commit robbery should reasonably expect to die for it, with no charges filed on the person who defended themselves. You ever heard people in regard to the death penalty be like, it costs more money to execute someone than it does to imprison them forever? How can that be true? Are they being injected with pure liquid gold? That's one of those things you hear where it's like, there's absolutely no way that's correct. They get one outfit. They eat the cheapest shit available every day. A bunch of them give free labor like punished slaves. Their cell is like 20 square feet, which can accrue a ton of rent by itself, and all the other expenses are for the group, not the individual prisoner. If there's one less guy in a cell, all the employees and utilities and land don't suddenly cost more. What are the drugs these dudes are getting murked with? Is it $1 million a syringe? We have to be humane and make it painless. Okay, you know what costs like a few $100s and is just as painless but quicker? A gun and a bullet aimed at the back of somebody's head. They literally call it an execution, yet we won't use it for execution. We used to execute people by firing squad, which is a funny waste of resources comparatively. Why end it with one bullet clean in the cranium when we can line up 6 guys far away and have them open fire and miss half the shots for no reason? You think there was ever one guy on the squad who didn't have the stomach for it, so whenever they said fire, he just shot the ground in front of the guy on purpose to keep his conscience clear? The people who retrieved the bullets afterwards must have been like, were these dudes hip firing? Must have been trying to get a camo. Yes, people have lived shots to the head before, but drugs can fail as much as a bullet can. Someone could miss an artery or screw up the dosage. There's no 100% way to prevent all miraculous survivals, but a gun is undeniably cheaper, faster, and as effective. Just put him on a tarp, wrap him up, toss him in the crematorium. I think the family would rather a jar than a body missing a forehead. Anyway, that's my executive order number 3. We're making it legal for the death penalty to be carried out by a desert eagle to the dome. Good luck surviving that. Executive Order number 4, abolishing international censorship unless the original creators of the media approve and individual audience members want to opt into that version of it. I just feel like the FCC or whoever's in charge of localizing stuff from overseas thinks we're a bunch of babies. Whenever you've got a chick in an anime game who normally wears short shorts or a revealing top, and then they Americanize it by giving her black leggings or hiding her belly button. Like, hello, we're adults. Knock that shit off. It's embarrassing. Give us the option as consumers of like, do you want to do the censored version or the uncensored version? Like how DVDs used to do back when they were a thing. Remember DVDs? I'm pretty sure they're still around. I just have not bought one in like 5 years. Executive Order number 5. I would make emulators and ROMs a lot more mainstream. There is beyond data to suggest that they don't hurt game sales, and especially in the interest of preservation, I would not allow games or IP that studios refuse to do anything with for decades to become lost media. Emulators are often the best ways to play certain games. You can unlock frame rates and modernize the quality. You can add cheats and save states for fun and convenience, and I would prevent any company from taking legal action against sites or users that host or play ROMs unless they're hiding viruses in them or something, which would also be less of a problem if we can bring emulation to the mainstream and make it feel less like a black market. You could introduce quality regulations so people wouldn't have to worry about stuff like that anymore. I would also prevent litigation against fan made games and projects that use copyrighted IP, especially if they aren't sold for profit. If the use of IP is fine in the case of satire, I don't see how a clearly labeled fan project that doesn't claim to be affiliated with the source material can't have similar allowances. Recently, we've had clone games that are as good or better than their inspirations, and I think it's time to stop punishing games because they have a creature that looks like another creature, or because you think you own the idea of throwing an item to capture one. I would do a lot of stuff to specifically target Nintendo, if we're being real. That company in particular has gotten away with a lot of shit for too long. If we're talking Pokemon in particular, I don't see an issue with more unofficial projects coming out. There are so many things people want to see done with Pokemon that the Pokemon people just refuse to do. So as long as official Pokemon stuff can still have this big official trademark stamp they can plaster onto all of it to make damn sure everyone knows that this is official stuff, we can train consumers to look for that stamp if they only want the official stuff, while giving fans the freedom to create their own dreams for a franchise, but prohibiting their use of the stamp so you don't mistake it for official. But that's all I can think of right now. If you were president, let me know what your executive orders would be in the comments. It might inspire more from me. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. My 6th executive order is to make you watch all my other videos, and I'll see you guys next time.